think it's important to mention that since 1962, many educational reforms have been implemented in Burkina Faso, but with limited success. Recently, another reform is being conducted. So the background of my research is that reform, which adopted integrated pedagogical approach. That approach strongly recommends the use of formative assessment to enhance student learning. But what is formative assessment? Formative assessment is the use of assessment results to monitor student progress and achievement, to review and continually adjust and improve classroom activities. However, research has shown that formative assessment is a complex process with many challenges for teachers. For example, we have seen that most of the time, teachers lack assessment literacy and competence. That is why the purpose of my research is to investigate the current state of assessment literacy and competency of teachers in Burkina Faso, and also try to identify the challenges they are facing. Another purpose is to suggest strategies to help teachers effectively assess their students. This is the methodology I used. It was qualitative and quantitative, and the tools I used questionnaire, interview, classroom observation, and document analysis. Because we couldn't go for the research trip, it was basically conducted online. This is the main finding. The first question was about the current state of knowledge and skills of the teacher. I found that formative assessment is not well understood, and teachers basically prefer summative assessment compared to the formative one. I also found that they confuse the assessment and grading of student work. I didn't find any evidence that they analyze student error in order to improve the teaching, and there was an insufficiency in the preparation of the lesson. And I also found that the student assignment was not so frequent, and there was no relevant feedback, and the oral questions were so limited. Regarding the second question, the challenges teachers are facing, I found that it was difficult for them to articulate instruction and assessment, and peer assessment and student self-assessment were so marginal. And I also found that the Ministry of Education efforts are more oriented towards summative and external assessment. That's why teachers are abandoned to travel along with the challenges of classroom assessment. For the third question, the point assessment strategy, basically I rely on William and Thompson 5 formative assessment strategies that I explained in the thesis. Here I just try to summarize them. For example, he mentioned that teachers need to share learning intentions, they need to have effective classroom discussion, provide feedback, and they need to use the student as research. Now, regarding these findings, I made some recommendations. I made 3 recommendations. The first one, I think we need to change classroom practice to integrate instruction and assessment, and we need to engage students to be actively involved in the assessment process. The second is that the ministry should provide professional development opportunities to these teachers. And the last one, school principal and pedagogical supervisor must be more attentive to the implementation of student assessment, and they need to provide pedagogical support to teachers. That is all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Kunikorgo-san. We open now the Q&A session.
Ferdinand, thank you so much for presentation. My first impression is a very good writing about the summarizing the theory necessary for your research, and I clearly understand your intention and the result and findings. Very good essence. So the comment I have is very detailed, maybe not so, how can I say, relevant, but I would like to share with you. Page 43, sorry, I'm going to based on the page of your thesis. You mentioned about the questionnaire, and there is an explanation about the questionnaire and lesson observation, and next page, you talk about the participants and intervention process, etc., etc. But I noticed that finding, when I read that the findings, I noticed that there is a notebook analysis, but you didn't explain about the procedure, that how to analyze. How did you analyze, a notebook, right? So that kind of explanation, I think that around the page 44, you need to add explanation. And let me see. Okay, I understand that the COVID-19 prevents you from doing fully your activity. Next, however, still a little bit hard to understand which one instrument or tool you could apply, even that under these circumstances of the COVID-19, and which one you couldn't do due to the COVID-19. You wrote, I think, on the writing body, but I recommend you to use that kind of table where you indicate this instrument I could use, this instrument I couldn't use. In this way, you can be very reader friendly. So, reading the findings, you explain the step by step that each question item, maybe not all, but the important question item, the results. And then after that, you start to explain about the notebook analysis. So if I don't make a mistake, there is no explanation about the lesson observation. Am I right? But you have that one video, right? Recorded. So what is the video? What is the reason why you didn't go here, the lesson observation? So if you have data, maybe you can analyze somehow. In these circumstances, if you have one small data, but which is very relevant for your analysis, because you are talking about the formative assessment, so maybe it's worth to try to analyze it, right? So that is what I noticed. And so I understand you couldn't do that intervention lesson in your country. However, you how can I say, attached that other appendix, that the lesson plan, right? And as you mentioned in your recommendation, that kind of suggestion is very important to improve the situation. And maybe your lesson plan would be the good example to help the people, a teacher in your country. So in this sense, I think it's better to try to explain what kind of intention you have in making your lesson plan. Or you can explain on the writing body, not just like attach your lesson plan. Rather, you include the interpretation or explain the intention why you make this kind of lesson plan. The applying to which kind of theory, the reason why you apply this theory because maybe the teacher has a difficulty to apply it in this way, in that way, etc. That kind of explanation will be very important and Then one more thing I'm going to explain is you explained that the findings. Of course, the first of all, you explained the theory you applied, and Stinks and William and I forgot another one. But these are very important theory, research theory, right? And you explained the findings. But somehow you try to link, but it's not so clear the relationship, the theory you apply, and the explanation finding. Maybe in the summary part, you'd better rely or link the findings with any key point indicated by the theory you apply. Okay? That could be the very important, and that you can do. I totally believe that you can do that because you explain very well the theory, you explain very well the finding, but maybe still lack of the linkage between theory and the findings. Right? I may stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And you focused on the learning achievement. From me, a very simple question, basically simple question, which is how the formative assessment enhances the learning achievement. We have technology. How it is related to the enhancement of achievement.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you to Ijaka Sensei for his comment. I think it's very important for me for the improvement of my thesis. Regarding the question of Akira Sensei, for me, formative assessment, as I told it in the definition, is the fact that teachers assess students, they got result from the assessment, and this result is some kind of mirror to analyze student misconception and then make remediation. We used to say that to assess means to teach twice. For example, if you teach for the first time, the second time is to assess students and to see what kind of difficulty they are facing, how they are integrating the knowledge, and what kind of barrier can prevent them to clearly understand or clearly integrate the content. That's why I want teachers to understand the process of the formative assessment. That means teach, assess, analyze the result by trying to see the error or the misconception, trying to analyze what are the internal process the student engage, and what are the stumbling blocks. He should try to find solutions. So the important thing is the analysis of the misconception and then try to find remediation. That's why I think that formative assessment is the best way for my country to improve student achievement.
So you mean the mechanism of the formative assessment process, it includes the improvement step for the lesson. That's why you it's possible to enhance the achievement.
Yeah, I think so, because for example, if I take my own case, when I was a young teacher, I didn't understand why they asked me to assess the student. And when I evaluate my student, It's maybe because the ministry asked me to do. And even when I do it, my attention is more on the grade. Oh, this student got 10 out of 20. That one got 12 out of 20. I just try to sort them. This one is the best student. But there is another step. The important step, I think, is why this student has 10 out of 20. What are the difficulties? And this step is missing for the teacher. That's why I think we need to help them understand clearly the process and also the intention of the assessment. Thank you.
So that step is not included in the summative.
Sorry?
Summative assessment. That's why it is.
Actually, when I read some offers, they mentioned that we can use for a summative assessment also formatively. Actually, the problem is the intention. Yeah, you can use the result of what can I say? The assessment. When you use the result of the assessment to change your teaching, then you are assessing formatively. That's what I want to clarify. Yeah. But during some summative assessment, for example, for an exam, we don't have time to change anything. We will just say, oh, you failed, you succeeded, and it's all. But I think the formative process should be done first, and then at the end, we can conduct the summative assessment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let me change the question. You have discussed about some formative assessment in the general view, I think. But you didn't focus on subjects or each lesson or something. Do you have any idea if there are any difference between subject to subject? The way you summative formative assessment.
Yeah, I didn't focus on a particular subject, but maybe if you look at the lesson plan I put on, it was on mathematics. Yeah. So actually, my intention was to change teachers' mind, because I'm working at the elementary school, and in this school teachers are teaching many subjects. That's why I didn't focus particularly on one subject. I want them to apply formative assessment in all the subjects, even though I try to adapt it in mathematics lesson by providing a kind of explanation of how we can use formative assessment in mathematics lesson.
Yeah. Actually, you mentioned about the questionnaire whose teachers understand about learning or assessment itself, the meaning of learning assessment itself. But they couldn't do the actual activity of the formative one appropriately. So yeah, I feel that the sympathy to teacher that is country, because my daily life, I tend to appropriate one, which is the descriptive assessment. So you could make a good distribution to your idea in your country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernand Nkogo-san, and thank you so much, professors. Now we would like to call the third candidate, Shrista Ritu-san, お願いします。